Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Van Horn and this is the first of the lesson video for IM1 August 25th, 2020. If you were absent from the lesson, I suggest you go to the slides that are available in Canvas to go through the announcements that were made in the beginning of the class. We had a lot of important announcements about the quiz coming up, how I am grading homework and classwork, and so on and so forth. So please go back to the slides in Canvas to have a look at those slides. Now let's get started on the lesson. So we are going to review the order of operations, and by now you know that order of operations includes parentheses, brackets right at the top, followed by exponents is the second, then multiplication, division, and we always go from left to right. And then lastly, the bottom level is addition and subtraction, and again we go from left to right. And since we are getting smarter, we are going to extend the parentheses and brackets to include what we now call grouping symbols. And there are 4 types of grouping symbols. The first one is the old one that you've used and are familiar with, parentheses and brackets. That means they need to be done first. At the same level as those are the fraction lines. So if you see a fraction line, that means you need to evaluate the numerator, the top numbers first, and then followed by the bottom number, the denominators, and then you do the division between the numerator by the denominator. And then lastly, third, you have watched the Edpuzzle video on absolute value, so hopefully you are starting to get some idea about absolute value function does, that it takes away the negative symbol, negative sign from any given number. Okay, so, and then lastly you have the square root or radical. Okay, so, and we're going to cover this later on in the year. So part of your homework was to watch the lesson recording of the homework video, and then you were supposed to solve these 8 problems that you see right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, so that you can go back to your groups to discuss this, the answers, how you got there, and why you think the answer should be such. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you were absent from the lesson, and I'm going to show you step by step how I would solve this. So if you have not solved these problems yet, please pause the video and copy these questions down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and try to solve them yourself first. Okay, so I'm going to show you the solutions. I'm going to work through them. Okay, so when you see 6 parentheses 3 minus 4 close parentheses, I see parentheses and subtraction and a close parenthesis. Which is the highest order? Well, it's parentheses, right? So that means we need to evaluate what's inside parentheses first. So 3 minus 4. What's 3 minus 4? Well, it's like adding a negative number. Subtracting a 4 is like adding a negative 4. So it's going to be 3 plus negative 4. So we're adding 2 numbers with opposite signs. That means we are going to subtract 4. Well, find the difference between 3 and 4. What is the difference between 3 and 4? It's 1. And the number that is bigger is 4. 4 is the bigger, and the symbol sign that goes with number 4 is negative. So the answer is going to be negative 1. So the 3 minus 4 is going to be negative 1. And to that, we have the parenthesis right outside. Now, what is the operation between 6 and these parentheses? When you see a parenthesis, there is no operation here, but what is the default? It's multiplication. So it's like 6 multiplied by negative 1. So what's 6 multiplied by negative 1? 6 times 1 is just 6. Positive number multiplied by negative number is negative 6. So negative 6 is my solution for 1. Let's go on to number 2. Again, we have parentheses, and inside it there's addition, the multiplication and subtraction symbol. Okay, so between all of these operations, what's the highest order? It's the parentheses. So we have to evaluate what's inside first. 4 plus 9 is 13. And negative 2 here. Okay, 13 multiplied by negative 2. Is it subtract 2 or is it negative 2? It's negative 2. So we're multiplying 13 and negative 2. And I'm putting a parenthesis there because I know that the negative symbol belongs to number 2. So 13 times 2 is 26. Positive number multiplied by negative number is going to be negative. So it's going to be negative 26. Okay, let's try the next one. We have subtraction, addition, and subtraction. Well, we always so they're all in the same order, isn't it? Addition, subtraction, it's in the same level. That means we just need to go from left to right. So we need to evaluate from 5 minus 8. What's 5 minus 8? We're adding two numbers with different signs, so we are going to find the difference between 8 and 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. What is the bigger number between 5 and 8? 8 is a bigger number, right? And 8 has the symbol of the sign that belongs to 8 is negative, so the answer is going to be negative 3. Now we're going to bring down this 12. Negative 3 plus 12. What's negative 3 plus 12? Again, we are adding two numbers with opposite signs, so that means we are going to find the difference between 12 and 3. What's 12 minus 3? That's 9. Now in this case, what is the bigger number, 3 or 12? 12 is the bigger number, right? And what is the symbol that goes with 12? That's positive. So it's going to be, the answer is going to be positive 9. Oops, I should have brought down this 2 over here as well because we can't forget the 2. Now we're going to bring down 2. Okay, so we've just evaluated this. Now we're going to bring down the 2. Now we're going to evaluate 9 plus negative 2. Okay, again, we are adding two numbers with opposite signs, so that means we need to find the difference. 9 minus 2 is actually just 7. Okay, number 4. 3 multiplied by 4 squared. Okay, multiplication, and this is exponent. Remember, exponents is higher order than multiplication, so that means we need to do 4 squared first. What's 4 squared? Is it 8? No, it's not. 4 squared means 4 times 4. So 4 times 4, it's 4 times 4. What's 4 times 4? That's just 16. So 3 times 16. What's 3 times 16? That's 54. Okay? Great. Let's go on to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here we go. All right. So we have 2 plus 5 minus parenthesis 10 minus 4. Close parenthesis. Okay, what is the highest order? We need to do the parenthesis first. That means inside, evaluate inside. So let's just rewrite everything except what we're evaluating. What's 10 minus 4? That's just going to be 6. Okay? Now we just have addition and subtraction. The parenthesis, we can actually just take it away because the parenthesis is not doing anything at this point because we've already evaluated it. So now we have to do addition and subtraction. We just go from left to right. 2 plus 5 is 7 minus 6. What's 7 minus 6? That's just positive 1. Okay, number 6. Okay, we have the fraction line. That's a grouping symbol, right? So that's a fraction line. Is a grouping symbol. So that means it's almost as if we need to put a parenthesis here and parenthesis there. So that we need to evaluate what's in the top first and then evaluate what's in the bottom sometimes if we need to. Okay, so what's negative 2 plus 6? What's negative 2 plus 6? Okay, again, we are adding two numbers that are opposite in sign. So it's negative 2 and 6. So we have to find the difference between these two numbers. 6 minus 2 is 4. And look at the numbers. Which is a bigger number, 6 or 2? 6 is a bigger number. What is the symbol that goes with it? That's positive. So it's going to be positive 4 over and we just have positive 4 underneath plus 6. What's 4 divided by 4? 4 divided by 4 is just 1 plus 6, and that just becomes 7 is your final answer. Number 7. Okay, so you have 2 minus 5 plus 3 squared. Which is the highest order? It's the exponent. That means we need to do 2 minus 5 plus, what's 3 squared? Is it 6? No, because 3 squared means 3 multiplied to itself twice. That's just 3 times 3. So that's just going to be 9. 2 minus 5. Let's start evaluating from left to right. 2 minus 5 is, because we're adding two numbers with opposite signs, we have to find the difference. That's 3. And 5 minus 2 is 3. And the bigger number is 5. And the sign that goes with 5 is negative. So it's negative 3 plus 9. Again, negative 3 plus 9, opposite. So 9 minus 3 is 6. And what is the bigger number between these two? 9. And the sign that goes with it is 6. If you're still confused with adding and subtracting integers, please use the number line. That's probably the easiest way. Last one, 1 plus 11. 1 plus 11 is, what's 1 plus 11? That's just 12, right? What about the bottom? Oh, there's a whole lot of different operations here. So what do we need to do first? We need to do exponents first. We have exponents, multiplication, and subtraction. Exponents is the highest. Okay, so that means 2 minus 4 times 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, now we have 12 as a numerator. And then we have 2 minus 4 multiplied by 9. Which is the highest order? It's the multiplication, right? You can think of it as 4 times 9 and subtracting it, or negative 4 times 9, which is negative 36. And you are subtracting 2 from it. Okay, so in this case, what do I get? 12 over, what's 2 minus 36? Because we're adding two numbers with opposite signs, we're finding the difference. 36 minus 2, that's going to be 34. And which is a bigger number? It's the negative. Okay, so, alright, so the final answer is 12 over negative 34. Can we simplify this further? Well, do we have a number that we can divide both numerator and denominator by? Well, probably the easiest one you should be thinking of is the fact that they are both even. That means we can divide the numerator by 2 and divide the denominator by 2. As long as you're doing both the same thing to the top and bottom, that is fine. It's sort of like multiplying by 1. So what's 12 divided by 2? 2, that's 6. What's 34 divided by 2? That's actually 17. And don't forget the negative sign here. So the answer is negative 6 over 17. So I hope you got that. Okay, if you need help, please come see me.